this morning, I want to build on a little on the increased dimension of the faith. And that's why I began from Hebrews chapter 11 verse 3 yesterday. It said, through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, and the things which are were not made from the things which do appear. So there was nothing you could see before. Everything was emptiness upon emptiness. Nothing appeared. It was by the word of faith that the word came into being. So that is a faith that enlarges. That is a faith that builds. That is a faith that increases. So when a man steps into that faith, it doesn't matter what he has. With a staff, he can take over Egypt. It doesn't matter what he carries. Even with a barley, little low dough of bread, he can feed for a year. It doesn't matter where he gets to. If you take him to the wilderness will become a fruitful field. And a fruitful field will become a forest. Why? Because the operation of that faith is such that it enlarges. But the Bible made us to understand. It said this kind of faith, it functions by understanding. The faith that enlarges functions by understanding. And I remember telling us yesterday that nobody has a problem of faith. The Bible said in Romans chapter 12 verse 3 that he dealt unto everyone the measure of faith. So the amount of faith you need for your destiny to shine, the amount of faith you need for your destiny to be glorious has already been dealt to you. The problem is the understanding to work it out. That is where a lot of people have a challenge. In Matthew 17 verse 19 to 20, he said, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, be thou removed, be thou cast out, and if you do not doubt in your heart, you will have whatsoever you say. So our problem is not the problem of faith. Everyone here can become a mighty company. Everyone here can become a great nation. Everyone here can become a company that will take over the north. But the question is, where is the understanding to make it happen? There is the faith that enlarges. But where is the understanding that backs that faith up? In Job chapter 38 verse 7, he said, declare now if you have understanding. It means if you have understanding, you can make decrees. But if you do not have understanding, forget it. Nothing can work. So your results in this life is dependent on the quality of your understanding. In fact, in Psalm 82 from verse 5, it said they know not, neither will they understand. So they walk on in darkness. He said, I have said unto you, ye are gods, because ye are the children of the Most High. He said, but you will fall like the princes. So what was the problem? It wasn't because they lacked capacity. They were gods, but they lacked understanding. So in Hosea chapter 4 verse 6, he said, my people. Who are his people? In 1 John chapter 5 verse 4, he said, whoever is born of God overcometh the world. So his people that should overcome the world, what did he say? He said they perish for the lack of knowledge. So you may have within you the power to overcome the world. You may have within you the power for an endless boundary. He said, but if you do not have understanding, you will perish. For my people perish for the lack of knowledge. This is why I say, buy the truth, sell it not. Buy the truth, sell it not. In this kingdom, nothing compels to understanding. The day understanding comes to you, you will be amazed that you will become a champion almost instantly. And I said, the first basic things we need to understand about faith is how this faith works. Very basic. Before we begin to talk about the realms of mantles, before we begin to talk about the realms of the mysteries of faith, there are basics that every believer needs to know. And I said the first basic thing about faith is that faith talks. Every faith that is quiet is a faith that is dead. Every faith that is quiet is a faith that will produce no result. Because the way faith was designed to work is that faith speaks. Genesis chapter 1 from verse 1. God showed up. He said the world was empty and void. The power to recreate the world was in him. But God hovered upon the face of the deep. We don't know how long. And nothing changed. Even with God, if he is quiet, nothing will change. That the Spirit of God was moving does not provoke any change. This is why many people come to church, they fall under the power. The power of God is moving, they are watching. Wow, this is good. And they go back, nothing happened. Because even with God, the world cannot be created until God begins to speak. He knows how this faith works. He said, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So he had created before. He had experience. But the experience notwithstanding can change nothing. You may be a faith champion. You may have had experiences before. You may even have lived in the house of Benson in Dahosa. It doesn't mean anything will change. Because the same God that created the heavens and the earth, lo and behold, he came back to the earth and the earth was void. Darkness was upon the face of the deep. Have you been there before where last year you wrought great exploit and today all of a sudden everything is a contradiction? It looks as if, is it not the same me that made so many exploits last year? What is happening? I tell you what is happening. You have stopped talking. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was in darkness. God showed up again. He knew how he created the first earth. So all he needed to do was to do the same thing that he did before he created the first earth. And he said, God said, let there be light. The light can come, but it will never come until you say it. This is how the faith works. The job can come, but it will never come until you say it. The contract can come, but it will never come until you say it. Even the dead can come back to life, but it will never come until you say it. Jesus came to Lazarus' tomb. Jesus was crying. God didn't look at the tears of Jesus and say, Kai, if Jesus is crying, then the dead must come back to life. He wept. Nothing happened. That you are crying before the circumstance does not mean anything will change. Your tears does not hold the power to create change. Jesus wept. Nothing happened. Until he came to the tomb and said, Lazarus, come forth. So have you been crying over the situation? Wipe your eyes and start talking. Jesus wept. The man was well dead. If Jesus wept in that funeral and left, he would have remained dead. This is how many people cry over their circumstances. For 10 years, they have been crying. Your faith doesn't work because you cry. Your faith works because you speak. That's how it works. And I told you the reason yesterday. You are born of God. So you function how God functions. If God functions by talking, then you too will only function by talking. Because he said he came unto his own knew him not. But as many as believed, to them he gave power to become the sons of God. So if you are born of God, it's the same way God changed things that you will change things. That's why he said, say to this mountain. He didn't say cry before the mountain.